balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, there's a fear factor going on in the parish of St. Lucie, and residents there are afraid that if they speak out about crime, their lives could be at risk. Residents fear that crime in the area is linked to drugs, but they're afraid to speak out. They feel if something is not done soon, there may be more of these types of killings.
Just want the people to stop all the love, violence and things that they're doing nowadays, the young people. We gotta live in unity, man. Stop this gun thing all the time. Everything's a gun all the time. The latest murder is that of 47-year-old Andre Hines of Northumberland. CBC News understands that two armed men invaded his home last night. Hines was shot during an altercation with the men sometime after 10 and died on the spot. My bed sleeping. My wife, we been telling me shots for him while he's standing in the bed. So I just lay down. I ain't ready to move off. I just lay down and arrest myself because I ain't want to get involved in that. His cousin, David Broom, says Hines was a social person.
Well, I knew him from birth. He was quiet, friendly. I never heard him get into anything.
Lawmen are continuing their investigations into Hines' death. The River Plantation is tonight facing losses in excess of $100,000 after several of its fields continue to be waterlogged. CBC understands that since March this year, 70 acres of the farm's land have been flooded from the overflowing reservoir at Vineyard in St. Philip. When a CBC team visited the St. Philip plantation this morning, the farm's personnel were unable to comment on the matter and directed us to BAMC General Manager Leslie Paris. In the field, the sound of water flowing into a well and settled pools of water along with an abundance of green bush was evidence of the water's presence. On visiting the reservoir, there was no overflow and the outside of the reservoir was virtually bone dry. Efforts to reach the BAMC's general manager were unsuccessful up to news time. CBC also tried to reach the Barbados Water Authority's acting general manager, Dr. John Mwanza, and acting manager of engineering, Charles Marvel, but efforts were also unsuccessful. The National Council on Substance Abuse is concerned about drug use by girls. According to manager at the NCSA, Betty Hunt, the involvement of girls between 12 and 18 in drug use is presenting a major challenge for that department. She assured the council will leave no stone unturned in its quest to overcome new challenges surfacing in the fight against illegal drugs in Barbados. Ms. Hunt was speaking following a ceremony to present 52 people from across various agencies with their Procure or Training and Certification Program for Drug Abuse and Violent Prevention certificates at the NCSA. A 30-year-old Christchurch man was rushed to hospital with second-degree burns after an incident at Purity Bakeries yesterday. Jamar Scott was using a power washer on the building. Now, according to reports, when he attempted to refuel the machine, it burst into flames, burning 90% of his body. 7 fire officers with 2 tenders under the command of Sub-Officer Stephen Miller responded to that accident. The Barbados Workers' Union is concerned about crime and violence on the island, and General Secretary Tony Moore says a resolution on peace will be discussed during the union's 75th Delegates Conference, which comes off tomorrow.
Some of these violent and criminal actions may actually be inspired by circumstances within which individuals find themselves, and that is being said without making excuse for all people who seek to commit violent or criminal actions. The Barbados Workers' Union, in debating the resolution for peace, is hoping that we can encourage all actors, not just the government, but the union is challenging itself and challenging employers, that we should redouble our efforts in whatever way to reduce the incidence of discomfort that may propel persons who would otherwise not engage in criminal activity in that direction.
Meanwhile, the union wants government to make it mandatory for employers to recognize unions in cases where 30% of workers want representation. Ms. Moore says in recent times, some employers have been making it difficult to meet with workers and have even been moving to de-recognize unions in some instances. She says this move should be made as a part of government's 50th anniversary plan.
Now, within our system, within our voluntaristic system, an individual has a right to recognize, to identify with the union. Going along with that right, therefore, would be the right not to identify or associate with the union. So it's a choice. But where the employers, it would seem, would rather us go would be in a direction where even if a union has been successful in its claim to be the accredited representative for workers at a particular point in time, where it is perceived that that membership has fallen off some over time, employers are suggesting then that they should be able to de-recognize unions.
Barbados's 3 biggest bands of the 90 will all be on one stage the night before the island turns 50. Last evening, it was announced that Square One, Coalition and Crossfire will appear at Kensington Oval on November 29th for the Digicel Barbados's music show. The promoters have called the 3 bands pillars of the Barbados music industry.
We focused in on a particular group that we wanted to highlight, and not that they're the only people worthy of mention, but this is a period. These bands here represent a period in Barbados music when Barbados was basically running things in the Caribbean.
Crossfire's Michael Agard is hoping for a sold-out night.
We want to encourage everybody to come out, bring out all your friends, all your families, everybody, all the tourists, because they understand that a lot of people are supposed to be in the country around that time, and we want to make this a really, really, really big event.
Well, Coalition was represented by 2-time Calypso King Adrian Clark, and he wants to see the return of a strong live band presence.
And I passed through areas like Oystains and so on, and I meet upon some tourists who used to be in Barbados partying with Crossfire and Square One and Coalition, especially the Boatyard. And they ask, where are the bands? What happened to Crossfire? Where are the bands? What happened to Coalition? You know, they're accustomed coming and seeing these bands performing in the nightclub.
And soca queen Alison Hines says she's thrilled to be back with Square One.
I obviously am very excited, and I've been able to, still be touring and still promoting the music of Barbados and the culture and everything that comes along with it. But for me, there's nothing like performing with Square One. That's the honest truth.
We'll have more news in just a moment. Stay with us.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network. More than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 to sign up to Digicel today.
Beat the new tax coming September 1st. Come down to Brankers on Fontebelle for the best bargains. Tiles of all types and sizes, bathroom doors, toilets, sinks, faucets, and more. It's all on sale this week. Truly a home builder's dream come true. Everything that Brankers sells except grout and tile cement is on sale. Don't wait until September 1st when the new tax kicks in. Just beat it and come now to Brankers and get all your building needs at 10% off sale prices. Spend smart and save big this week only at Brankers on Fontebelle. Don't miss this massive pre-tax sale. It's happening only at Brankers on Fontebelle, where affordable luxury lives.
Cave Shepherd is adding up your chances to win this back-to-school season. Everything you need for back to school is on the middle floor at our Cave Shepherd main store in the school department. Get great brands like Kipling and High Sierra backpacks. Also Hush Puppies and K-Swiss in the shoe department. Plus spend on Grand Collection, Miss Grand Collection, K-Swiss or Smartwear brands, and in Tasha's Wonderland for a chance to win great prizes with Cave Shepherd this back-to-school season. Cave Shepherd, in style since 1906.
The regional security system is now in a better position to protect the borders of the Caribbean. That's because the surveillance aircraft, which was sent to the U.S. to be refurbished, has been returned. And it has a number of features that will make the Caribbean a much safer place. Executive Director of the RSS, Grantley Watson, says protecting the borders should be first priority. He was speaking at the handing over ceremony of the aircraft at Sewell Christchurch.
Now, in the return of the second surveillance asset, therefore, and integrated with coastal radars, the cooperative sensor and information integration, systems technologies, and other tools and tactics, the RSS now has increased capability to act individually and collectively to sense and see what is happening in our waters and on our land spaces in order to stop the flow of drugs, guns, and other illicit activity that undermines our safety and development.
From its developmental assistance to budgetary support, the delegation of the European Union to Barbados under the leadership of Ambassador Michael Barford has had an impact on the island and others in the Eastern Caribbean. Ambassador Barford, who is returning to Brussels, was the toast of the night at a farewell function that was held in his honor. The outgoing envoy says the EU delegation is undergoing some change. He says over the years, the delegation has become a household name as it coordinated the EU's position in the Eastern Caribbean.
At the political level, we have made more efforts to coordinate EU positions in the Eastern Caribbean in our regular EU heads of missions meeting. And tonight we have the UK is present at ambassador level. We have made joint missions, we have made demarches and visits to the prime ministers on particular issues. So the EU has come together in many different and very important issues. And I've also enjoyed the more informal cooperation with other like-minded ambassadors here in Barbados and with the honorary consuls. All that has gone very well.
Ambassador Barford is, however, disappointed at the slow pace of integration.
We think that treaties are in place, Jogaramas and Bastere, but that progress to reach the goals of free movement of goods, services and people could be implemented much faster, perhaps with stronger political will as a driver.
Well, we're just over 3 months away from Barbados' 50th anniversary, and artist Dan Matt has joined the celebrations. CBC's Shane Jones visited the sculptor's home in Deacons and filed this story.
You only turn 50 once, and there must be a grand celebration. Artist Dan Matt of Amunart Designs knew he just had to make a contribution and went about sculpting this 700-pound limestone masterpiece of the Barbados 50th anniversary logo.
I came up with a vision of creating something that is going to be tangible and that is going to be there lasting for the rest of another 50 years. And this is the vision, looking at the emblem that they have all the time, all around on TV, which on paintings. I think they should have one live, and this is what it is.
How long did this take you, and what goes into the process? Walk me through this.
Oh, well, it takes me 3 months, and what goes into it is Barbadian limestone, along with metal inside, steel, and other material to help, we should say, form it, right? But it's primarily Barbadian limestone.
Now that it's finished, what do you want? Where do you want this to go?
Well, I imagine that it's a Barbadian, I should say, government project. To me, it's something for the government to really, keep a door somewhere in some, in the Parliament, Prime Minister's office, or other important governmental institution. I really would like to see a big one in front of Errol Barrow in Bridgetown, right? Going around making a 360 with the lights of Barbados glowing on it night and day, and the water fountain around it, and having it really glorious and reminding people all the time, making it a tourist attraction.
Dan has an extremely close connection with his work, and his home is adorned with his pieces. I must say, some fascinating work. He has also entered NIFCA and has won 2 silver and 1 bronze. 2 pieces in particular stood out and amazed me. They were tributes. This larger-than-life statue of Barbados' only heroine, Sarah Ann Gill. Beautiful. And this piece, entitled Bajan Patsy. Marketing manager Robert Jones says the pieces will soon be in the USA.
We're actually on our way to New York. We have a 50th anniversary going on in New York, collaborations with the Barbados Consulate in New York. Our whole journey actually is to get some pieces from here to New York to actually complete the whole package of what we have up there. We just have to get Sarah Ann Gill, as you guys just saw. We also have the Bajan bus stop. Up there we have the standpipe, the leatherback turtle, the green monkey, the whole nine. So we're just trying to get the whole package up there. So this is really where our journey starts, as far as raising all the funds and everything to get the whole, to actually have a fantastic 50th anniversary sent off in New York City.
We are always proud of any work depicting Barbados. Shane Jones, CBC News.
Well, next you'll have a look at stories from across the region.
They're new, they're full of flavor, they're chunks of fruity, 100% natural real fruit bars from Byko. Enjoy this